Hi, I've been using FSEconomy for about 3 months now, and wanted to share some things about flight planning that I have found out. I'm currently in Mount Pleasant, Falkland Islands, and over the past 3 months, I've traveled all around the United States and got up to the most northern airports in Canada and Alaska. And since then, I've traveled down to the southernmost airport in South America. So gotten a little bit of experience on flight planning, and kind of the hard way I've learned how to improve my navigation and combination of determining flights on where I want to go, and also the tools that help me do that. Now, when you first start out in FSEconomy, at least if you're like I am, you were at a location, and in order to determine what flight you wanted to take, you kind of had to pick and choose. So here's a couple of flights to SCGZ, so you can click on that and then see, okay, well, if I flew there, these are the flights that would be there. And it's kind of a hit or miss situation as far as going through and seeing what direction that you want to go. Now, it does have the bearing here, and so you can kind of step forward through the different places that you want to go to, but it can be a little bit of a challenge. That's when I came up with a route planner for FSEconomy called Aardvark Air, and it is on FSE-aardvark-planner.co.uk/route-planner. And you put in your data access key, which is where you get that in FSEconomy, and you go to the data feeds. You can configure your access key. All right. So once you do that, it will automatically detect. You put in your access key. You select your aircraft. It will automatically, if you have an aircraft rented, it will detect that. If you don't, then you can click on Show All and pick whatever plane that you want to use for that particular route. So I'll go back here to the Kodiak. Let's see, Quest Kodiak. And then one of the key things is that you can either consider only the airport or consider the local area too. Now, this is important because if you're in a location, what I found that if I'm going from one place to another, there may be a route or a better assignment that I can get that's maybe 10 or 20 or 30 nautical miles away. So considering the local area too gives you a lot more opportunities, a lot more variations as far as where to find a route. And then we are currently at, let's see, EGYP in Falkland Islands. And then you can select the number of iterations. So how many steps is it going to go through and follow this path and calculate where you want a route that will give you a variety of assignments. So you put in your FSA username and password, and then you run the route finder. So this I found was very helpful, especially if you want to generate income. And it's not quite so efficient as far as if I'm in point A and I want to go south, to narrow it down to a certain location. So we'll take a look at another tool that I use, and I use a combination of these. Well, actually, the three tools. Sometimes I'll just use the assignments that are in FSEconomy, especially if I want to just explore a specific area. Other times, I want to generate some income, and that's my primary objective, and that's where I use the Aardvark route finder. And so let's take a look. So we've got several routes that came up, And if you want to take a look at one, for example, this one here, net pay per leg is $8,000 per leg with 3 legs here. So you click on the details button, and you can take a look. We start here in the Falkland Islands, and we come up here and up here. So this is really good. I in fact want to go north, and I want to go back to North America, and I'd like to go on the Brazilian side, because in coming down I hit Chile and Argentina and a lot of the western countries in South America. So this one looks pretty good. It's a short, and but just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and take a look. And this does show, let's see, bearing first to last degree. Now the catch to that is that you could be hopping all over the place and end up with a bearing of 307 degrees like this one, and travel distance first to last is 729. That's the total distance, but you may be coming back and forward. So let's take a look at this one here. This has a lot of hops in it. Take a look and scroll up. Okay, so this goes up and around and then ends up back over in Chile, it looks like. Yes. Okay, so it's a nice visual representation, and it has some other options as well. So let's crank this up to 5 and also change it to, so you have a choice of looking at your total dollars for all the assignments together, per leg, per hour, per real world hour, which is usually generally I fly without any acceleration. So that would be the real world hour. Per hour, I believe, takes into consideration acceleration, if I'm mistaken, or per nautical mile. So you can have a few different varieties options as far as selecting the dollars that you want to get and what you want to look at. If time is not any consideration for you, then you can click on total and run Route Finder, and it'll go through. So I've got up to 5 iterations and 5 steps, and let it crank through here. It's on leg number 2. So it's a pretty cool tool here, and again, especially if you're looking at maximizing your income, not necessarily where you want to go. And I'll show you another tool that is really super good that I like to use where I want to design my own route. Now, one thing that this isn't so good at is if you are going from A to B. Get my fingers down here. Okay, here we go. You're going from A to B, but you could also go, or A to Z, let's say. You want to go B and pick up an additional assignment and go to another one down here, so you kind of make a square but tie everything together. So I'll show you how you can do that here. So anyways, so here we go for the net pay, and let's see, we got a 41,000, 5 assignments, and with a total net pay after fuel and everything is 41,000. So that looks like the highest income. And we're looking at 19 hours of flight time, just over almost 1,100 nautical miles total. And so let's take a look at that. Hit details. And here's the flight. So you're kind of going around here and end up back over in Chile. So it gives you it gives you a visual viewing of the flight plan that you were going to take. And let's see, let's take a look at this one. This goes up to Bolivia, end up in, looks like, back in Argentina, Paraguay, one of those there. Or you can take one flight at 7,000, that's just going straight up. And let's take a look at this one. That's pretty good right there. Now, just to wrap this up for the Aardvark, let's say we want to do this. This looks like it's interesting. We get to hit several different places, get to visit a couple different countries in doing this, and I'm gradually making my route north towards Brazil. And I end up on the east side of the continent, which is kind of my goal of traveling for going up overall. So we take this, and I'll right click or left click, depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed, and I will save. And I will call this 2020-05 20, and I'm going to fly this for Snack Air of the group. And open it. Okay, now we have a nice little PDF that it creates, so we can refer to it, and it tells us each leg and whether it is this is a patient transport, so we can't take any other cargo or any other passengers or assignments when it's a V. And here's the second one that is also an exclusive hire, and that's an exclusive hire. So all these are exclusive hires, and so we can't add on any additional assignments if we were in a situation where we could pick up an additional, or there was another assignment was available, we can't add it. But anyway, so that's Aardvark. That's the tool planner I started using probably about maybe 2 weeks into flying FSEconomy, and it really helped out a lot as far as getting assignments and looking beyond. It'll look, and sometimes you'll have a 20 nautical mile deadhead where you don't have any assignments, but you fly 20 nautical miles from airport B to airport C, and so that you can get an assignment, a high dollar value assignment. All right, so that said, let's take a look at another tool where you have to manually do a little bit more work to do your flight planning. So this is FSEconomy Flight Planner, and as far as the deadhead flights between one airport to another, you kind of have to do that yourself. But by default, it's going to look at an area of assignments in a 40 nautical mile area around a specific airport. So we are at EGYP. That's where we enter that in. Okay, and we're going to look in a 40 nautical mile area. So we're going to, let's go through and delete all these old queries, add that, and so, oh, we messed up, EGYP, okay, and then update query. So we're looking at EGYP, 40 nautical miles. We've got a lot of other parameters that we can enter in. For instance, if we want to look at jobs that are mainly going north or west, we put in 90 degrees or 180 degrees or 0. And if we do that, let's see, let's go with 180 to 270 and 45. So 45 degrees plus or minus, so that's a 90 degree window that we're looking at. And we can update the query there. So 270 plus or minus 45 degrees. We want weighing less. You can specify the weight that we are looking at. You can do jobs departing, jobs arriving, jobs traveling to. So there's all sorts of variables that you can do to manually plan your flight there. All right, so update query one last time, and then we'll do a Google. And that brings up Google Maps. All right. And then it shows you a Google Earth, rather. And so now we are looking at different flights. Here's our query results, and the flights that we've got if we wanted to. And let's go back and change this and remove this. Okay, so update query, and we'll re-Google that. Okay. So the larger lines are lines that have more income based on. So you've got some income here, and you can go up here to the flight planner, and so here's a flight that's going 1,059, one world traveler for 3,000. So we can, okay, so we could go, that's one option. See, if you click on it, it highlights it there. There is also, let's take a look at CNT. So there's one there for 7,000. So we can look at both the dollar amount as well as the direction very easily with this. Let's see, and we can also zoom in, and let's click on this, and then so this shows us we've got a patient for 9,000, four patients, 9,203 going straight north, which is exactly the direction that we want to go through. So this has the direction that we want to go, and it's a high dollar amount that's there. So this looks like a winner here. So let's go ahead and click on that, and we will click on add assignments to my flight. All right, if we go back over to FSEconomy and I click on my flight, and it shows up here. That's pretty cool. Okay. But it even gets better here. So we've got one flight that we've taken. Now, that is, if we take a look at here, this is a type V, so I can't add any other flights to it. I'll show you, but we are going, the location we're going to is SAZB. So do queries, SAZB. Again, from SAZB, we're going to look at airports within 40 nautical miles, and we are going to add that query, and this is highlighted, so we're going to Google the current. Okay, from SAZB, it's just showing our flights. Now, if we want to go up to Uruguay, we can, let's see, click on this. This is 11 passengers. Well, I'm not certain. So I only have a 9-passenger plane, so it probably shouldn't have included this one here. It's probably because of my weight. I may have my weight set a little bit wrong. SAZG. Let's take a look at that. Okay, 6-passenger corporate jet hire for 10,000. This looks like a pretty good, and we're going up into northern Argentina. So this is SAZB. So SAZB to SATR. Okay, so that's this one here. I can't add this to my flight because I already have a flight that is exclusive, and you can't have more than, if it was a regular terminal flight or a terminal assignment, I could keep on adding these, but since it's not, I would have to manually make a note of, let's see, it is good for 1 day, so as long as I get there for the day and nobody else takes an assignment, I can get there. That's when I come up with what I usually do is bring up Notepad, and if it gets to be complicated like this. So we have HEYP'd SAZB is our first flight. SAZB to SATR, and that is a V flight. So okay, so we make that. Now, so SATR, so we're up to SATR. We can go back over, and again, if these were normal passengers, we could keep on making assignments and keep on adding the assignments to these. But I'll go ahead and do some tight dollar amounts. They're exclusive, but there's a little bit of risk doing that because you might lose it. If somebody else takes it, you got to watch out for expiration date, but that's all right. We'll find something else if we get there. So SATR is our next one. And we will add that query and Google Current. All right. So now we are looking at SATR and what's this here? One world traveler, 1,348 miles. This is pretty good. This covers a decent amount of distance. I could take smaller ones, smaller flights if I want to explore. Sometimes what I'll do is I will take something like this location here that I'm at and pick one of the, so here is a several passengers to SAAV. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's $5,000 right there. And then if I do that, I can turn around and if I let's see, SAAV, add that query, and I can actually Google all if I want to. And so I started here. I went up to SA, and the little red circle shows the ones that I've selected the queries from. I've gone to SATR and then SAAV. Now if I want to go to SAAV, those flights start here, and this shows I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 flights to SAOC for 90. So it gives you a, and here's this flight to this flight is, let's see, SU, so there's one, SAOC is going back south. So you can kind of, you can go back and forth, you can see where you're going and select, okay, in this case I want to explore an area and I want to go pick some shorter flights and then continue on in a longer and go up here, SWGC, and add that query. So if I fly up here, I kind of get stuck. I mean, I'm not going to be able to go that far. Well, I see there's one up here. What's this? Oh, SM. So this is a good example here. From an airport that is just a short distance away from SWGC, SNPW, I can do a deadhead, fly from here to here without any passengers or cargo, and then fly up to SBBE. So I can continue my flight north with just a short little deadhead from one location to another. So that's kind of the tools that I use for doing flight planning. And if you have any good tools that you found, go ahead and leave those in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I know that it's there's a lot of things that I haven't covered in these. Just started using them in the past month or so, and so you can tailor them to however you want. But they've really helped my enjoyment of using FSEconomy in being able to do the planning for my routes and assignments. So, hope you enjoyed it.